I walk the streets with my swagger on, supernatural, facing a million opponents, and my role is to act alone. Lights, camera when the action's on. Where I'm home is a battle zone, a vigilante in the catacombs. But I rock with a hot shot like a clock when it's cocked and popped and the lead is gone. People say that my head is gone, but it's them same people with need of my help. When I'm heading home in life, they say that everybody got a purpose. So I roam the city streets like faulty cellular service. The hot shot sharpshooter superhero, destined to shine like light through the dark and evil. I fight for what's right in the hearts of people, and try to open your eyes, cause it's hard to see truth. You ever feel like everybody's the same, but you different? That's when you know you're here to make a difference. Hot shot, you got a choice to make, stand up or stand down. Fight or flight, get up, bang out the world's weight. Can't wait to see what you about. It's showtime, act now. Hot shot, you got a choice to make, stand up or stand down. Fight or flight, get up and bang out the world's weight. Can't wait to see what you about. It's showtime, act now. Hot shot. Hot shot.
Everybody, how you doing? My name is Mike Watson. I am the host of this show. We call it Chat and Draw. Oh, my camera's been moved. Look, there's been a lot of activity going on here today. All right, so you guys have to excuse me. But look, yes, we're here. Chat and Draw. 300 episodes in. I'm the publisher of Freestyle Comics, one of the hosts of this show. Glad to have you here. If you just tuned into the show for the first time, this is a show where I, as a creative, interview and talk to other creatives while drawing something in relation to that creative. You didn't think I could use creative so many times, but I just proved you wrong because I could. All right. I also have an amazing co-host with me. Her name is Mayu, and she helps keep the chat going when I get distracted by the art because that does happen several times. But we're gonna get into this. We're gonna get it moving. I'm gonna give you the update for Freestyle Comics. We got a lot going on. A lot. It's been a busy day. I don't know why I wait till the last minute. I've been sitting here all week doing other stuff, doing other things, and I'm like, oh, time to get con ready. I want to do it right now at 7 p.m. Let's go ahead and get into some stuff. But I shall be at what is called, let's say, the entire screen. Let's just share this. Atlantic Comic Con. All right. We are going there. This is the first year show in Norfolk, Virginia. And I'll be going there with my buddy Ryan Robinson. He's an illustrator, artist, and freelancer. I'll be there solo dolo at this show. There's tons of amazing creatives at this show. One of the reasons why I wanted to go to this venue. This is their first year having this event. It is August 17th to the 18th, Saturday and Sunday. Going to be out there. Come check it out if you're in and around. And then, because you know we had to, we have the scavenger hunt going on. This time it's sponsored by Freestyle Comics and Fourth Wall Productions. Danny J. Quick will be out there. Moana Nui, the Moana Nui podcast. I don't know why I paused on that. But the Moana Nui podcast will be out there. That is Dana and Moana. We're going to be out there with Constant Hustle Comic Shop. We got looking art, Ryan Boom, Danny J. Quick. There's just so many people here. We got the Legacy of the View that will be out here with us. Specs Thomas will be in the building as well. And we're all doing a scavenger hunt for you all to check out. If you're going to be at the event, ask and complete this list. There are things on here that you need to do on this list. As you do those things, you will check them off and you will show the person at the respective table. Go into the tables. All the table numbers are down at the bottom. You can find us at 7A, 6A, sorry, 31A, AA, 29A, 26A, and AB. There's some typo on this one. Don't worry about that. We're right next to those tables. We'll work it out. We work these things. And you'll get something pretty awesome at the end of that trip once you complete it. You're already getting something awesome because you're meeting some amazing creatives. Number one, some creatives that you didn't know were out there. Maybe some creatives that you came specifically to the show to see. You get to meet them and more, and the amazing products that they have at this show. So, lots of good things going on out there. So you should definitely be there to check those things out. Let me stop screen sharing that. And update on Freestyle Comics. What else do we have? We're going to be at this comic book convention this weekend. We are now getting stuff ready for the Kickstarter. Like we're packing stuff now. The surveys have already been given back to us. We are going to be finishing packing and shipping when I come back from this show. We've already started doing that. We're going to start ordering hats and jackets because people got hats and jackets, and those will be shipped out separately. Once this Kickstarter has been shipped, we are going to move into the Vigilance Volume 1 trade. And after that, we're moving into 5-star, 5-star number 3 Kickstarter. And we'll see. We have things listed out. We're going to see how they lay out with the lay of the land. We might just bump up and do the Hot Shot Trade Volume 3. So we got a lot of stuff in the roster. It's just depending on what do we want to put out. But if you've been waiting for the Hot Shot Kickstarter rewards, thank you for your patience. Really, 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 really appreciate that. While we were trying to get things finished and completed on that, the action figure is still being printed. It's going to print it, and I want you to understand that action figure has to be hand painted. For those of you that order the action figure, but that stuff is still in process. Action figures will be coming separately. Books and stuff will go out, and then, like I said, the hats and jackets will be separate. But I think that's all. That's all I'm going to do to get you guys cut out. I'm going to bring out Amayu now. What's up, Amayu?
Teeny tiny. Oh, okay, I'm big now. Hey, y'all. Happy hump day.
Happy hump day. Happy hump
Before
day.
I get started, I have to show you all my hand. I got some henna done. So if you happen to catch a glimpse of it and you're like, what's going on? Does she have leprosy? I don't have leprosy. It's just a little henna. It's still peeling. But I am well, and I'm so happy to be here. Sorry I missed last week. I thought you were off for your birthday, but apparently you were working. So my bad on that.
Well, yeah, because we did a small dinner for my birthday, and then we actually did a birthday party on Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, it was as I've been told, it was the best birthday video game tournament party in the land. We played Mortal Kombat 1, Street Fighter 6, Dragon Ball Z Fighter. Yeah, we went in. We went on the competition. It was super, super fun.
Is there footage of this somewhere?
There's photos, but no footage, no video footage.
Gotcha. Tell somebody to put it together, make a slideshow so we can see.
Okay. I want to figure out how to stream because we have both TVs going in my studio. So I want to figure out how to stream both TVs to be able to flip through them and showcase the tournament because it was fun the way that we had it set up.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, but as you guys can see, check out our website fsknow.com and check out our patreon.com /FS Comics. We have a lot going on. We're doing some structural redecorating inside of the Freestyle Comics lab. We're trying to make it more serious, more focused. Yeah, that's the word. We're trying to make it more focused so we can we can break through some ceilings here, y'all. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna tell you our sponsor, Clip Studio.
Clip Studio.
Go ahead. Yeah. We got jingles now. Be sure to check out Clip Studio. Clip Studio is you get 90 days free access with this Clip Studio. If you want to find out what this program is about, you can, of course, watch me use it because I use it on our stream, or you can try it out full access 90 days for free. When you go do that and you decide to buy it, tell them Chat and Draw sent you.
Chat and Draw sent you. Okay.
All right, let's go ahead and bring out our guest because we're about to dig into it. Very excited about his book and his characters. This one looks real good.
Wait a second. A new opponent has interrupted the tournament.
Mr. Nigel, how you doing, sir?
I'm pretty good. How is everybody?
Excellent.
Hey, Nigel.
Hi.
Nigel, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the chat, let everybody know who you are and what brings you to the
Wait,
listen.
wait.
What?
Before he does that, David Murray said, "Happy belated birthday."
Oh, David, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Okay, go ahead, Nigel.
All right. As you said, my name is Nigel Lynch. I'm a comic book creator from Caribbean, from the island of Barbados. I've been doing this for a little bit over 15 years. Um, I've just started to kind of branch out into the US market, start to network with some of the US creators and that kind of stuff. I've written books on all types of genres, and this is one of my favorite shows, and I just always wanted to come on here.
Nice.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that.
Yeah, I actually watch it whenever I can. Sometimes I even watch the live streams, and I would comment. We kind of we talk back and forth. So yeah, it's a pleasure to be on here.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, what is the name of your book that we are going to be talking about today?
Okay, so it's a kind of a series, and the series is called The Diary of the Stray Dogs. So it's a series that has multiple characters. It actually has different timelines, and it was done because I wanted to do something that was sci-fi. I'm a big fan of sci-fi, especially cyberpunk, Ghost in the Shell, Matrix, that kind of stuff. It's stuff that I kind of grew up with. So I always wanted to do my own take on it with a Caribbean take, and then also have a love for mercenaries and tech and that kind of stuff. So that's the seeds of where the idea came from.
All right. Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Question:
Go
Are
ahead.
you currently in the Caribbean right now in Barbados?
Yep, right now.
Okay.
Mm.
We live, y'all, in Barbados. We international, y'all.
Hey, I was going to say it's our first international show up in this bad boy.
Is it? Woo, woo. Okay, so Nigel had to remind me that I met him once before. We had this massive guest list, if you will, for the Epiphany Engine. But for anyone who may not have caught that show, would you like to let them know how you are connected to the Epiphany Engine project?
Okay, so the Epiphany Engine is this massive crossover with tons of creators. I think like over 50 creators, 9 artists, writers, that kind of stuff. So it was a project where we were all allowed to, or called to, kind of pitch in characters. So I added a character from this same universe, a character called Douglas St. James, and he's a super soldier with a healing factor. He's a mercenary for like this large conglomerate faceless company kind of thing. And his story is one where it's about him gaining kind of a humanity. In terms of where he fits in on the Epiphany Engine, yet to be seen. I'm kind of excited to see what he does or where he falls in line. And that should be coming out sometime next year, I think early February.
Okay. So when you submitted your character to the Epiphany Engine project, did you have to like give them like the origin story, the hit, like the
Not really an origin story, because remember the side characters aren't really the focus. So mainly you just kind of give them a sketch with maybe a full turnaround so that their artist could kind of draw the character. And they did ask for almost like a character bio in terms of personality and that kind of stuff, so that they could kind of nail certain attributes of your character. So you wouldn't want if your character is stoic and then they have him as a jokester in the book, so they kind of try to ask, well, what kind of character he is, what his powers are like. And because he's not really a superhero, it was kind of easy. So I just kind of, what I did was just kind of parallel him to a Marvel or DC character, which everybody would be more commonplace with, so they could understand. So I said, well, think of someone like Cable mixed with Wolverine, or personality of the Punisher, that kind of stuff, just so that they could get a quick snap of, oh, this is what it is. So
Right.
was how my character was mixed into that crossover.
Okay, that's what's up. And for the character that Mike is drawing tonight, what can you tell us about this character?
Okay, so this character is so in a lot of my projects, because I do like a ensemble cast, what would happen would be after the book comes out, fans would kind of give me feedback and they would say, I really like this character, I really like that character, or this character was really good. So this was I did a book called Diary of the Stray Dogs, The Wounded 2. And this was a character that was a side character in the story,
Mhm.
but a lot of fans kind of gravitated towards her. So I just went and I did an origin story of her, which is going to come out probably either in later this year or early next year. And this is kind of her origin. So her name is Gaz, and she's a assassin slash mercenary, and she wears a stealth suit. I don't know if you're familiar with like Metal Gear, because it's also very much influenced by Metal Gear. So it's that kind of octo camo where she can go invisible kind of thing. So she has a suit like that, and this is her story. So this is this is one of my favorite characters now as I start to develop her and get into her backstory, her background, why she is a mercenary and that kind of stuff.
Okay. And so, how would one get introduced to this particular character? Do you have to like buy her side story, or is it best to be introduced to her as a as a side character?
No, the way how I write all of my books, each book could be read as a standalone book.
Okay.
So when she's introduced in book two, she has her own origin that's related to that story. So she comes in that story. So if you read this first and then that, it would be a natural progression. If
Okay.
you read that first and then you read this, it would be a natural progression. And the reason I kind of went that way is because as an indie creator, we never kind of really know which book is going to be our last book,
Mm,
or you don't know which book is your first book towards someone in the audience or fan base. So
right.
I kind of write more in terms of I'm from like the child of the '80s. When I was growing up, you could pick up any Marvel book, mostly a Spider-Man, and jump right in. You could pick up a Hulk. Yes, it had a kind of continuing narrative, but most stories were wrapped up in two books or one book or that kind of stuff. So I kind of followed that kind of model. So each of my books kind of end. They have a through thread going through to another book. But if you read that book and left, you would be satisfied. It has a beginning, middle, and end.
Okay, great. That sounds awesome. Um, so you said you started about 20 years ago. Is that correct? Did I hear you
Yeah,
correctly?
yeah, about 20, maybe 20, 18 years ago. To be
Wow.
honest, I can't remember, but it's about that because my son is about 21, so it was when he was a baby. Yeah,
Okay.
that's when I first started. And I could remember the morning I just got up and I said, today's the day I'm gonna make a comic book. I'm gonna do it today. I just went and I
Really
looked for an
cool.
artist and I found an artist and we've been creating books ever since. Uh, and it was a different time. It wasn't like now where you had the internet and you could go online and you could find an artist online, or they had
Right.
like it wasn't the same. Even things like print on demand wasn't that popular at the time. So when I started, I didn't have any idea about script writing. I didn't know anything about comic creation. I just had a love for comics, and I always thought it was something that if you had the right tools, you could kind of work into it.
Mm-hmm.
So the first script I kind of wrote was a short story form, and when I presented it to someone, they said, "Nah, this isn't how this is how you do a comic." And I had to go. And at that time, what was readily available was movie scripts. So I had to kind of look at how they did movie scripts and follow from there. And throughout the years, I kind of got better in terms of writing the format and that kind of stuff.
Wow. Oh, that's interesting. So you don't do any of the artwork, you have other people do the artwork.
I do very minimal artwork. What I kind of do would be I do have an art background. I studied art in school, and
Okay.
I got it back at what we would call secondary school level,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't pursue it. So, but what it does give me is the ability to look at certain things and say, well, I think you need to change this, or you need to correct this, or it still gives me that where I can still sketch something or explain things to the artist rather than going kind of blindly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I don't draw. Maybe in a couple of years if I retire and I have time, I may try to. But I don't have enough time. I miss it, but I don't think I could get back there. Um, but what I will do sometimes is I will design covers and I will send what my sketch looks like to the artist, and he would then do his interpretation.
Okay. So, I mean, it sounds like you just know your lane, so you just stay in it. Is that what it sounds like?
Yeah, it's pretty much is that. And as you go on with comic book creation, especially if you have a good team,
Mm-hmm.
you realize that it is very much a team effort. Um, so whereas you may bring an aspect to the story, it's my idea or it's my brainchild, but the artist will then add something to it. The colorist will then add something to it,
Right.
and these things come together to make the book be an expression of all three individuals.
Right.
Um, so even down to where I was years ago in terms of my script writing, rather
Mm-hmm.
than more matter of fact and kind of picking my angles and that kind of stuff, I don't do that anymore. If I trust the artist, I give him I give him freedom, even down to like I may say, well, this page could be 5 pounds or four, and I'll write the descriptions. But if he comes back and he comes back with a way he can do it in 6 and it's good, if he could come back and do it in 3, and I look at it and I realize I could still get my dialogue in there, we work it out. And very much at the same time, if you have a good communication, is something, and you would then say, well, you forgot this, this, and this, but the reason why she has to have this is because it's important to the plot
Right.
4 pages later. So it's a very interesting thing, um, especially if you have a great team and you're building this thing.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at.
Okay. It kind of sounds like a band. Like you have your person
Yeah,
who's on the keyboard, you have your person who's on the drum, you have your singer, and then when it all comes together, it just makes this beautiful thing. So that's awesome.
yeah.
Awesome. You mentioned a son.
hmm
Um, how many children do you have, and do you implement them in your comics?
I have one son,
Okay, so just the
and and I did have my son in a comic book. He was the inspiration for a character uh, about maybe a couple of years ago when he was around 11 or 12.
no.
I had to do a book for the US Embassy, and it dealt with certain social issues. So we did 3 books, and the first one was about bullying in schools, the other one was about domestic abuse, and the third one was about human trafficking.
Mm,
So one of the characters was kind of one of the little brothers, which was in school, was kind of based off of him.
mm.
So yeah, I have done it where I've based characters off of friends and family and done little cheeky homages to different things like that.
The little wait, what did you say? A little chicky.
Little
Little
cheeky.
cheeky, yeah, cheeky is a, I don't know if it's a Caribbean term. Cheeky, kind of,
Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah,
You got to put me on. You got to let me know what these things mean.
yeah.
Okay. Now you just kind of like went past the fact that you like did something for the U.S. Embassy. Like, how did that even come about?
Oh, right place, right time, kind
Oh
of
wow.
thing. Like most things that are great opportunities is a bit of luck, and luck is like being prepared for when the opportunity arises. So that's how it came about. Small island like Barbados, the U.S. Embassy does have a outreach program where they do things with the locals and so what had happened was we have one convention here called AnimeCon. So at the time, one of the people in the embassy was a big comic book fan, big anime head. So he came, and when he saw the books, he was impressed. And at the time,
Okay.
I had done a trade, which was a book called Life and Death in Paradise, which was kind of like an urban drama stuff, and it was like maybe like 150 pages or so. And he said, "Wow," he was really impressed, and he said, "I want to work with you. I want to work with you guys." But in life, you get people telling you that kind of stuff constantly, so you don't really pay any attention. So then a couple months later, I got the call, and he was serious, and we went in, and we kind of just he told me what he wanted, and we kind of just brainstormed the idea, and that's how that came about.
Wow, that's awesome. That is a blessing. Wise Acre Comics says Nigel equals the GOAT. So
Oh,
toot toot. You ain't
shout
got
out.
more. Somebody else will toot it. That's awesome.
I do have to say, Nigel, I really, really like the look of this book. These
Thank you.
character designs are on point. From the
Yeah, that's-
pages that you sent me, the storytelling is just, dude, the storytelling is dope.
Thank you, thank you. That a lot of that is that's a lot to do uh, with the artist. The artist is he's from Spain. His name is Juan Carlos Francisco,
Mhm.
and I met him. So the reason how this series came about was it wasn't supposed to be centered around these characters. It was supposed to be centered around the main character, Douglas St. James. And I started a book with a colleague of mine, and as schedules kind of went, different things, the book went on pause, and
Mhm.
we couldn't get back to it. So I then decided, well, what I'll do is I'll take one side character, which is Shani Belcourt, the a black Caribbean girl. She was supposed to be Haitian, but I then decided, well, let me do a side story with this character in the meantime. So why I ended up going was for the first time I went on a site called Upwork, and I just kind of combed through dozens and dozens of artists. I saw one artist who I just loved his work, and I just kind of asked him, "Would you be interested in working?" And we kind of said, "Yeah." We worked together, and it was the first book was a little bit of a thieving process, kind of getting to know each other, get to know how the stuff worked. But what kind of really helped was we both had an interest in science fiction, cyberpunk. We talked about movies. I would send him movie clips. He would send me stuff. We watch short films, that kind of stuff. We find some of the same things. Like a lot of my influences are like the movie Elysium, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
District 9, that kind of thing. So when you see a lot of that stuff there, because we're on the same page, sometimes I would get back a page from him, and I would be like, wow. And I would go to see what I had in the script. And then sometimes I'd realize I just had nothing. A lot of this is just from him. And as you go forward with a team, you'll find that a script has heavy description in the beginning. And as you go down, it becomes less descriptive because the artist kind of picks up the vibe, but he can't to run with it because you're feeding off of him too.
Mm.
Because I heard someone say it, and then I realized one of the worst things you can do sometimes with a comic book artist is give too much direction, because then they don't use any of their own creativity in it because they're trying to capture what you want. So I try to stay away from sketching pages unless it is something that I want to do. I have like a really cool idea or a really cool concept, or something like that. But a lot of it is a mix between his visuals. Sometimes he would come back and say, I see what you have here in this script and stuff. Can I do this, this, and this? And I'll be like, sure. Or you know what I mean? So you say like, or he'd say, I'm thinking of a character and I don't know what to do. And I would say, why not make them into samurai bikers? And I would send him the Oni mask and the different things. And he'd be like, yes, this is perfect. So we kind of, so on a book like this, you kind of have to make the characters as interesting as possible because it's a book you have to kind of, it's a book, I like that you want to read the book 3 and 4 times. And there's a lot of hidden stuff inside of it. So I put a lot of hidden messages in the books. I put a lot of hidden art pieces and inside jokes and that kind of stuff.
Okay. Oh, that's pretty dope. So as far as the hidden messages, do you like get political with your messages?
Oh,
Tell the truth, shame the devil. Tell it.
Well, to be honest, when you say political, okay, remember, like as you said, international, political, different parts of the world mean different things in terms of what people are dealing with. So, from my standpoint, I may not deal with some of the social issues that may be in America, but I kind of deal with stuff from my lens as a person from the third world. So we deal with things like availability of stuff or the way how bigger countries treat smaller countries, that kind of stuff. So there is stuff like that in the book. Some of it is blatant, some of it is a little hidden, but you wouldn't really come with me speaking towards like American politics or American issues because that's stuff that you all deal with. I kind of dealing with a global kind of thing, looking at it from because there are things that you guys deal with that in other countries it's not an issue.
Yeah.
Or it's not.
Don't get me started. No. But yeah, that makes sense. So there are political messages, but it's more so on like a worldwide view, not just not specific to a specific country. Okay, I got you. Also on the show, sometimes we talk about like current movies and things like that. And not last week. Well, I don't know because I wasn't here last week, but the week before that, we did chat about what was it? Deadpool and Wolverine. By any chance, did you happen to see it?
Yes, I actually I had to go and see it the first day because I didn't want to be spoiled.
The spoilers were out. Apparently, like they spoiled a whole bunch of stuff for Mike. Those people weren't on my timeline, thank God, because they would have got blocked and blessed. So I got a chance to see it without any spoilers or whatever. So what did you think?
I enjoyed the movie. It was very entertaining. I'm a big fan of the Marvel movies and stuff. So the way how I kind of see them, I go into them as to be entertained. So I'm not one of these kind of very picky viewers, especially I'm from a time when movies was rough. I mean I was from a different time when.
Wait, how old are you? You keep talking like you 80 years old. How old are you?
48.
Okay, so you're not that much older than me. Okay, continue.
Yeah,
so you're not as picky with your movies, you said?
No, when I say not as picky, I wouldn't. How would I explain it? I do enjoy sometimes a bad movie where it's kind of ironically bad. But when I say picky with movies, like I'm not one to sit down and nitpick about something. Especially as a creator, right?
Yeah.
You have to be able to if you watch everything through your creator's eyes, you're not going to enjoy anything because you're going to be too much picking things apart. Sometimes you will watch something that is so brilliant, it will become a teaching moment because it blows your mind to a point you're saying, how did they do this? Or this was brilliant. Or, you know what I mean? Different things like that. For me, I'm a big fan of John Wick. So there was elements of John Wick 4. I wouldn't say that it's Shakespeare, but there was elements of John Wick 4 that when I was in the theater, I was just going crazy in terms of like in the beginning, there were some subtle things like in the beginning, John Wick was always bathed in red light, and all the other characters he was talking to was bathed in green light, and it made you realize that in that situation, John Wick was the villain because what he was asking of these people was way beyond what they should have to do for him, and it was a very subtle thing. So then there was a lot of little cinematic cues and different things like that. And then as I watched the movies too, you would realize that John Wick is a series that it's ups the ante every single time.
Mm.
They don't do the same thing over and over, and if they do it better. So when I saw them come, so I give you an example. John Wick 1 has the cars you shoot in. The second one has the bike. There's horses. There's a knife fight. So then they step it up. Then they just do something. So when they came back with a dog again, I was like, but they did a dog already. But they did it better this time. They did this dog. This dog was better. They added side characters that were interesting. They just keep improving. It's one of the few series that I've watched in this time that I've actually enjoyed more, and it built upon itself. For example, if you had to say like Mission Impossible, the last Mission Impossible movie, I didn't quite enjoy it as the one before it, and it felt as though it kind of dropped the ball. But John Wick did what they did. They kind of just improved it, improve. And I'm not saying that I'm not going to say that everybody should be a John Wick fan. If you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, cool. I respect that. But I know that I kind of enjoyed it, and it's the kind of film I wanted to watch. So even that is a bit of an influence in my work. It kind of teaches me that when you do a comic book, it should have that oh shit moment, that kind of part in the book where you kind of just freak out. It has to have something like that. That's why, like in my books, you shouldn't just flick through my book and say, okay, that was cool. There should be some page that you stop on and say, wow, I didn't see that coming. Even if you're not reading it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You should be able to read this book, and the comic book should be able to read it without reading the words. You know, you should be able to read. Growing up, because I was dyslexic, still am. Comic books was always something that I was read, and you would read things with pictures first, and then double back if you read it enough times. Then you'd read and say, "Well, let me see what these people are saying." So a lot of that is in the form of storytelling that I kind of do in my books, where you should be able to pick up from just looking at the panels. If you're looking at the artwork, you shouldn't have to rely too heavily on the dialogue to push the story. You should be able to get, you should almost be telling two stories, one with the art and one with the text and the words.
That's interesting. I have a confession though. I've only seen the first two John Wicks. I didn't see the third one, even though I had Holly Berry in it, and I love Holly. And then the fourth one, I was just like, I can't see the fourth one because I haven't seen the third one yet. So
you can watch any of them.
Maybe I need to go back to it then. But yeah, if you said they're getting better and better, and I definitely enjoyed the first and second one, so I don't know why I didn't see the third one. I probably was like, well, it's just more shooting and John Wick revenge,
No, he's absolutely right in what he's saying. Those movies got better and better, and they are the only films that get the I know people say fight fatigue. Those are the only movies that I do not get any fight fatigue on at all, because they keep it so interesting. And it's like they make it challenging for me. Like, what else are they gonna do? Like, what else can they do to make this man? And then they just say, just watch.
Okay, I got you. Oh.
What do you think, man? What do you think of it so far?
That's supposed to be to block in the
that's good. It looks good.
Anywho, but there was a nice comment. Well, David actually said he's pretty much seen the whole movie in parts from Facebook Reels alone. So yeah. Thanks, David. Hopefully, they didn't spoil too much of it for you, I guess. Hopefully you've seen it by now. I mean, it's been like over a week now, right? Aren't we past the 1 week mark?
I mean, for Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah, it's like 2
Yeah,
weeks now.
yeah.
Oh, that movie has been.
Spoiled massively.
If I knew how to block you, I would. So have fun in your comments. No one's gonna pay attention to any of that. But you're being ridiculous and you're being rude and disrespectful.
Yeah, that happens.
Hold on.
That just
Can
means
I
we're
do it
getting
here?
more popular if we've got trolls. So
That
congratulations,
boom! I think I just did it.
trolls.
Yeah, trolls mean more popularity. I think I just was able to ban him. Awesome.
Okay.
Ban that person. All right. Nigel, I can't even express how dope I think this character is. When you sent me over the character sheets for this,
Mhm.
she immediately stood out to me. None of the other like the other characters look good. Do not get me wrong, they do. But she immediately stood out to me. I was like, yeah, that's what I'm drawing. And then I did not see her name anywhere.
Oh.
And so you were like, you told me what character you want to draw. I was like, damn it. I hope that's the one that I want to draw.
Yeah, what happened was I kind of took the name off the character sheet when I now thinking about it. Yeah, I remember I said who she was, but I didn't point out who she was. Yeah, but she's that character where everyone is kind of drawn to her.
Mhm.
All the different books, there's always been a character where people said, I've had a book where people kind of was sorry that one of the villains kind of died. And I was like, oh, I was hoping that you didn't kill off this character
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So I kind of take that as a compliment that the characters are interesting and people get attracted to them.
Yeah.
So she's one that everyone's kind of gravitated towards, and it caused me to then, as I said, I have a backstory for every single character I do, but sometimes you kind of say, well, would I do a comic book with it? Because comic books are expensive. They're expensive, they're time consuming, and then if you don't get the reward or the thing, it could kind of be a bit daunting. So you kind of have to pick your projects going forward, that kind of thing. So, but I'm very happy when I showed the script to the artist. I showed him two scripts. I showed him the one with this character and another one, and he said, "We gotta do this one." So that's because of him. I was able to. I felt confident enough to do it.
The fact that it's a female mercenary, like I'm already intrigued. Like, how did she get into this? So, are you okay with giving a little bit of her backstory?
Sure. So her backstory, which will be coming out, as I said, later this year or maybe next year, is a story of her and her sister and them growing up in a kind of neo Tokyo kind of city, lights, glamour, that kind of stuff. And they fall into some hard times in terms of like they grew up in a sweatshop. And then the two characters get separated, and the story then follows the main character, Gaz, who's a mercenary, and her journey where she's on a mission, and she has like almost like a flashback of something that reminds her of her sister,
Right.
and that then turns around and takes her on a journey of looking for her sister. So that's as much as I will kind of get into. It's very action oriented, cyberpunk, very pretty colors, that kind of stuff. I've had good feedback. I actually just sent it out to get edited this week. So that is very nerve wracking. You kind of get like butterflies in your stomach kind of thing. That's the only part of this whole process that I kind of hate is getting back your stuff from the editor. Is nerve wracking for me. So that's it.
I bet. So do you have a Kickstarter going right now?
No, I don't have a Kickstarter. So the reason why I came on was actually because last year I did the circuit, went on podcasts or on Kickstarter, try to get the funds and stuff.
Mhm.
And what I would realize is that, but we don't promote the book throughout the year. So I said, well, what
Yeah.
I'll do is I'll come on and talk about the book. The book is on sale on Wiseacre site, wiseacre.usa. So if you're interested, go on there. So I said, well, I'll come on and get people familiar with the franchise, get familiar with the characters, that kind of stuff. Talk about the series, the book, the characters, so that when they do get into promoting for Kickstarter, it's not like starting from zero.
Right,
So
right.
yeah, so
Can
my
you
goal
drop
is
Do
to
you,
can you drop the
Nigel?
website in the private chat?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask, so we can share it out for you.
You'll share it out, and so people can go there and grab it up if they are looking for it. Maybe
no
even
problem.
our trolls might make some purchases. Who knows?
Maybe.
Great.
Yeah, but I will be doing a Kickstarter maybe later on, and I actually would love to come back onto the show again. Um,
You got to come back with the Kickstarter.
yeah, maybe even before. As I said,
Hey,
I'm a big fan of this show. Um,
I'm a big fan of this book. So yeah, come on back whenever. You are welcome to. I normally, and you can tell on the show when like I'm really vibing with the character when I come up with like a background and scenario for the character as well when I'm
Mhm.
drawing them. So it doesn't happen a lot because normally I go for just like kind of like these kind of super perspective poses, force
mhm,
perspective and stuff. But I was like, nah, she needs to be in a shootout. She needs to be against the wall.
yeah,
She's about to
Right.
get
yeah,
ready to go in. All right, let me
yeah.
get this and put it in the chat. All right, we
So,
got the link going for where you can go buy the book. Yeah, this is awesome stuff, Nigel, man. Really love hearing your story and
Yeah.
your creative process behind this.
pretty dope.
So I also did another book with Wiseacre Comics,
Hmm.
and that's called Critical Ops Task Force, and it's also set in the same universe, but it's 10 years. They're 10 years apart. So the beauty of that is you will see characters cross over between the books. So you may see a character that is a younger character in one book and then he's older in another book, or you understand, well, oh, so this is where this character came from, or they
Hmm.
would make cameos in the books and that kind of stuff. Um, and that's something that even when I was watching some of your live streams where you said comic books should cross over and it shouldn't be a big deal. Characters should be, especially within the same universe, which makes sense. And those are the things that kind of make a story come alive. If
Yeah.
you if you don't if you do this rich world, but everybody's in a bubble, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
Right.
That's just what I've always believed. I mean, obviously, Marvel does it with all the heroes being in New York. New York. And that
Mhm.
was my thing. Like, I was like, all right, man, they can live somewhere else though. They ain't all got to be in New York. But, um, people hype up crossovers and stuff, and I get it. Crossovers are a lot of work. They're a lot of building. They're a lot of work to make two individual characters merge together or whatnot. But
Mhm.
if you yourself have multiple books, multiple stories with characters, and they're all in that same world, why not just pop them in there, pop them over here? Like someone will be more pumped about turning the page and seeing that character there
Mhm.
than obviously you promote it and put it on the cover, but like Hot Shot 1312, we just or 13 is coming out because it's getting inked and colored now, but 5 stars in it. 5 stars not on the cover. We don't say featuring 5 star. You just turn the page and like, oh shit, 5 stars right there. What is he doing here? And he's there for a couple pages and then he's gone.
Yeah,
Um, but it's part of building those worlds around, man. And
yeah. I think it's a good thing to do, especially like so. If I've now come into your universe, I'm now reading your books, and that's something that when I was a kid and you was reading a Marvel book and you read a Spider-Man and you saw a superhero, you didn't know who he was, and it will cause you to then look out for them or ask somebody who knew would come ahead, who's this character? And then you would find out that they had a book or they had a series, and then
Mm-hmm.
that's how you would discover a new character. You know what I mean? So it is a part of the world building, and it gives you, especially if you have like really smart stories and crossovers and that kind of stuff, it really makes it interesting.
Hmm. And of course, I like the time aspect that you put in yours. I mean, that just opens it up for so many other opportunities, so many other different time frames. I'm not going to say timelines, but time
Mhm.
frames.
Yeah, right.
Things can take place. Speaking of timelines and crossovers and all this other stuff, what do we think about Robert Downey Jr. coming back as Doom or Wait, what is he?
Yeah, it's
Doctor
Doctor
Doom.
Doom. Doctor
Doctor
Doom.
Doom. Okay, sorry. He went to doctor school. Doctor Doom. Okay. What do we think about that, y'all?
uh, it's almost kind of like for me, it's like a wait and see kind of thing because I don't know what they're gonna do.
Mm,
Um, I know that I'm gonna probably go and watch it. So what's happened in the last couple of years because of the way how marketing has been, if I know I'm gonna watch something, I try to stay away from the media around it
mm-hmm.
because either something will be spoiled or you get caught up in people arguing about things that either don't interest or mean anything to you. You
Right.
go and watch it and you like it or you don't like it. And that's how I kind of feel. I could kind of understand why they did it. Um, my my opinion on the Marvel universe is almost like a catch 22.
Mm-hmm.
So when comic book movies first started and we first ever watched the first ever movies, we as fans used to say in the back of our mind, then you watch Superman back in the 80s. I wish Batman was in this, or it'd be really cool if so and so showed up. And then most people would tend to do is a little like, you see this piece of paper here, this is this and this, and or you saw this thing. And the Marvel movies kind of started to do this thing where they combined and brought in all the characters. And the way how they did it was interesting because they kind of started semi-grounded. So Iron Man, if you go back and watch Iron Man
Mm-hmm.
1, and then you watch Endgame, the two movies don't look the same in terms of tone, what they're dealing with. By the end, he had on like a nano suit, and we ate it up, and they had a wizard in it.
A lot of people
Okay,
don't talk about that.
you know what I mean?
A lot of
But
people don't point that out.
but in the beginning, I had to put on a helmet. He had to get help taking off his suit. Blah blah blah. Right,
Yep.
and it went on, and the way how they did it, they kind of just slowly introduced certain things. When Thor came in, he wasn't doing magic. He was saying it was science. And then slowly he just was, yeah, and just doing magic, right? And it slowly went in. And but for me, what I started to say was like, this universe is getting too big because what's happening is you're creating so many possibilities and you have fans calling for every single thing.
Yeah.
It's gonna get bloated. Like for anything that is big is going to be very hard to manage. So you kind of gotta close your eyes a bit. You gotta kind of. There's something called what's it called? What is it? When you watch things and you kind of just shut off a part of your brain in order to try and
Mhm.
enjoy it.
Yeah.
Some of you have to do that,
Yeah. Um,
right?
I can't read this name. I'm gonna say Shatley's said they eased us in. That's how they built a following outside of comics.
Yeah,
Yeah, they definitely did. That Iron Man, that first Iron Man,
yeah,
and that little post-credit scene that just gave me everything I needed ever in
right.
life. I need it all.
Yes. So the first, let's say the first 4 or 5 movies, they just kind of tease that these characters are all in the same universe, and they
Right.
just showed you little snips. The after credit scenes with just one character crossing over was just enough.
Yep.
And then when they did Avengers, it was like, wow.
Yep.
And that was something that we all wanted, but then it started to get big. And I think what kind of saved them too was maybe the fact that they didn't have the rights to every single thing. If not, they may have done like what Fox did coming up. Fox jammed as many mutants into a movie to a point like the mailman was a mutant and he was dead in the same scene. It was just like, this is my favorite character. He's dead. Just in the background, it just had tons because it just was throwing stuff because it, they just want to use them up. So, in terms of Robert Downey Jr. coming back, is yet to see what happens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Kind of a wait and see thing, like you said, and that's where I'm at. Because I mean, I'm not gonna stop seeing the movies.
No.
But I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to do a little bit of research now. I'm a movie purist. I know I can't be saying that on this show, but I am a movie purist. I try to separate the movie from the comic. But for this whole Doctor Doom thing, I'm gonna have to do a little research because I'm like, I don't even know who this guy is. So I got to do my research. What do you think, Epic? But while we close out, because it's almost time.
Yeah, I just looked at the time. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but Feige has not let me down. I've enjoyed the MC universe. I take the pieces that I really love and I rock with them. I'm a comic book fan, so I'm gonna watch all the stuff. But I understand when something. For me, I just understand when something ain't like. If I don't like it, I'm like, that's just not for me.
Yeah.
So I know what's going on now, and I'm gonna move on to the thing that is for me. So I'm a trust in Feige. I get, he's been throwing some curveballs, and I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt because he has been throwing curveballs, and he's got to figure out other things to do to move within. So I'm not crazy about it, but in Feige I trust. He has not let me down. I can only speak for myself.
Okay.
I am thoroughly entertained by the action figures. I watch all the movies, all of it. So we will see where he goes, but he has messed up. He has messed up because he gave me X-Men 97. So now my expectation for X-Men is up here. And then he messed up a second time. I didn't think he was gonna do it. He showed me one of the best Wolverine variants I didn't even know I wanted. And so that's all I want now. That's all I want. All I want is Calverine. I don't want any. I don't care. I want Calverine. I don't care about nobody else but that. But look, Nigel, thank you so much for coming on the show, bringing these wonderful characters on here. This is literally done. I just need to work on that gun. I got to finish that gun out. And then I can send this over to you, man. This is yours to keep, to do whatever you want with it. Hopefully it's a cover.
Yes,
I'll fix the gun. I'll fix the gun tonight, and I'll get this right over to you. I want to thank you so much for coming on to the show.
No problem, man.
Bringing us your project. Any last words you want to give anybody before you bang out?
Let's see. You can find me on Instagram, Beyond Publishing. You could also drop a line on Wiseacre Comics on their IG, Facebook. My personal Instagram is Pirate Monkeys 76, and I will be doing a fan art competition later on this year. So come and draw some of the characters and win some prizes.
Okay, all right. Huh?
What about me? I have stuff going on too.
Oh no, I was about to wrap up with David was talking about. Hold on.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. No, you're fine. Go ahead.
I need that Instagram again though. Can you give that one more time?
Pirate Monkeys.
Pirate Monkeys
76.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And not in a racist way. Thanks a lot, trolls. Anyway. So I also am on an additional show called Grumpy Old Nerds, and we stream on Thursday. So that's tomorrow at what time? I think 8:30. 8:30. My time be off sometimes, but you can follow me on Amayu82, and I'll post something. Amayu82 on Instagram and TikTok and all the things. So yeah, that's all I got.
I need to holler at y'all too because I'm supposed to be on there. We're supposed to be talking about my new issue because it's
Let's do it.
Yeah, we have to do that. But all right, everybody. Well, thank you for tuning in. And actually, there'll be like a 5-10 minute intermission, and we're coming right back. It's a double hitter night. So it's a long one for me. We got some more awesome comics coming on. So give us 10 minutes, pop right back into the show. It's going to keep on going. And thank you for tuning in. If you do like this show and enjoy what came on tonight, please subscribe, follow, like, and share. Hit us with that 4-piece combo and a biscuit, and we will be thoroughly appreciative of that. Please go check out Nigel's work. Check out the Grumpy Old Nerds tomorrow night, and I'm going to work on getting on there because I'm supposed to be on there. But David, thank you so much. And to the trolls, thank you for letting us know we are making progress. Let's get it, everybody. I'll see you in about 10 minutes on the next one.
Okay.
I think that I should ask Mr. Watson. I think that I should ask Mr. Watson. I think that I should ask Mr. Watson.